Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on our YouTube channel every Friday. But with no other announcements, we'll go ahead and start the show. So ticket takers, after some time in Azulore, you discovered that Azulore was not what it seemed to be, as with some careful, crafty spell work from Jury using sending, you realized that there were maybe some sleeping people or a weird spell happening. And then thanks to Abel's puzzle box, you did discover that, in fact, all of you have been asleep since you set foot in the city. You woke each other up and made your way deeper into the city to try to find an escape, only to realize that whatever is causing the sleep was emanating from the thaumaturge, and the closer that you got to it, the more powerful its draw back into this shared dream was. So you all kind of succumbed to the dream and then awoke on the next day realizing that perhaps as Naginda had told Marlo, the best bet is through the dream itself. And so you decided to complete your work of getting your passport, and you went downstairs of the inn, and there stood Hildy with our special guest, Sarah, the archivist from the Library of the Palladium, who is going to guide you through the restricted section. You made your way to the library and you got your task of reshelving 6 books, which, if anybody knows librarians, is like, please help us reshelve if you can, because it's a constant battle. And so you made your way down into the restricted section and found yourself first into the collected biographies section, which you discovered contains the biographies of all people of importance within Alyria, not just their past biographies, but their potential future ones as well. You managed to discover the book that you needed to reshelve, put it back on the shelf, but there was some of you who decided that you wanted to read books about mothers, or your own past, or just how all the ticket takers met each other. But as we ended the session last week, Marlo had read a book about their own past in which they were turned into a werewolf and discovered the identity of the werewolf who had bit them, and also was about to be drawn into the book, but was rescued by Aryan Squall Eater. But in the commotion, you all realized that the guardian of the library, the curator, is constantly listening and watching, and came by to warn you that that was your first warning for breaking the rules within the library. So ticket takers.
Yes, we committed the deadly sin of knocking a book off a shelf.
We ran into like the whole shelf.
I mean, quiet is the first rule.
It was the shelf.
It was a shelf of books. But ticket takers.
To be fair, if I was a normal librarian and someone knocked a whole shelf of books over, I would come in with the same amount of aggression.
And now you got to shelve all of those.
You got to reshelve all the books.
I worked a graveyard shift at a library, so yes, as a student worker. So yes, I know of whence you speak.
So, ticket takers, as we pick up there, you are in the biography section. If there's anyone else who wanted to attempt to read a book or find a book within the biography section, this is your opportunity. Or you have Hildy here who can help guide you on through the rest of the restricted section.
Yeah, I think me and Hildy find our way back to the others, and I go, I read my 2 books already.
I'm just going to start kind of fixing up what happened here. With Aryan, and just really try to play it cool in front of everyone, like I just tripped or something.
I start helping.
Okay.
Now, did it actually knock an actual shelf over?
So I think the way it played, like Marlo and Aryan kind of flew backwards and hit a shelf, and a few of the books tumbled off.
I'll just reshelve.
Okay, so you'll reshelve those books. Okay, so Soros and Marlowe reshelving books. Anyone else wanting to look around or find something here?
Who am I still leashed to?
You got leashed to Abel.
Yeah.
Because Jerry went, I'm going to go do personal shit and left you behind.
Okay. I might have been on my phone. Okay, cool.
There's a lot going on.
All right.
So, Josh.
Yes.
Can little Soros read books?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting question.
Because he's awake.
I mean, he has an intelligence of 10, which is an average intelligence. And we've established that he speaks common. So he could read any book that's written in common.
Okay.
My squirrel can't read, can he?
I mean, come on, it could awaken Thistle.
No! I want him protected from the horrors of the known.
Ignorance is the best protection.
I'm just going to keep that knowledge to myself for now in case we need it later. But,
Okay.
So we're in the personal biography section. Is there like a histories section?
There is a history section, and one of the books that you have to shelve needs to go to the future history section, yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to extricate myself from Abel and say that I'm going to go shelve the future histories book.
You absolutely are not doing that by yourself.
Why
Yeah,
not?
You do not know where you're going.
Future history section.
You don't know where that is.
That north or south from here?
That's not an answer.
If you would like to escort Carmana,
Here's the thing. The library is not like a normal library in that it is connected to divination and it is constantly changing. Not only are the books changing and writing, but the library itself is constantly changing. So I have been trained to notice the patterns that will lead you to the rooms, but I can't just say, oh, about 17,000 shelves down that way and to the right, you'll be in the histories. So you will literally get lost and die.
That's true.
You are not allowed to die.
well, if you would like to escort Carmana to the history section,
I'm not going to leave you all alone. You've already called the curator here once.
I could stay here and just look for
That could have
a
been
couple of
anyone.
books.
Could have been anyone.
All right,
Particularly
let's
with
all stick together. Even though I just ran off and did something with Hildy, let's all stay
There's-
together. And
I'm fine with us being like breaking apart in the section, like to find where you go, like to go through a different stack and then come back. It's the going to a completely other space that we need to move together.
Abel, did you say you wanted to look for a book?
Okay, in the meantime then, where would the biography of one Mr. Victor Rylus be located?
Well, it was the book that you had to reshelve. Was the
Biographies that we
so you had to reshelve one of the future biographies, and so it would be easy enough for Abel to relocate that stack. And so you have here the past, this year, and then the future histories of Victor Rylus.
I would like to investigate his potential future histories.
Okay, there are 37 volumes.
Okay. Where are the ones that are closest to our current time?
So nobody read a future history, did they? Oh, Arian did, but you don't know that.
I'm not gonna reveal that.
So you could grab one off the shelf and see. It's not like volume 1 is like the next 3 years, and like volume 2 is the next 10 years after that or whatever. It's literally each one is just labeled volume 1, volume 2, volume 3.
So it's like, here's the tree that's spreading out, and depending on which decision gets made next, this is where they branch off.
We did have some kind of, I think this was like implied, right? That like the newest ones were the one, like 37 was the one that was most currently written.
That was the most recent divination sequence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll just read the most recent one.
Okay, so you want to read volume 37?
Yeah.
All right. As you grab it off the shelf, Abel, I need you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
You can do that.
Oh, sorry. It's a wisdom saving throw to read the book.
Wisdom. Cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ooh. 13 plus 15. 13 plus 2.
Okay, so that's good. So as you open the book, you realize that like where this particular volume is beginning, volume 37, it is describing an action that Victor Rylas is taking, and it seems to happen almost like in media res, where there's some kind of spell work that he is doing, and it's describing him chanting. It's not like giving you what the spell actually is. And he seems to be standing in the center of a very large square or structure that is 5-sided. And at each corner of the 5 sides, there are dragons that have been staked through the heart, and their blood is draining down the stakes and are pulling at the base underneath where he is standing. From the way that the book describes the dragons, they sound very familiar as some of the dragons that attacked Noavia on the night of where the prismatic array assaulted Noavia. And at Ahriman's base, like he seems to be floating above this pool of gathered blood, and in that gathered pool of blood, there is a very familiar white rat. But Saurus doesn't seem to be his normal self. He seems to be like glowing with an extra amount of energy that he did not possess before, and it's difficult to know where that energy comes from. But as you continue to read, Ahriman completes whatever ritual that he was doing here, and he manifests himself as the god of knowledge and becomes the god of knowledge. As you continue to read through, he uses the power to wash the veil away from the blight. He strengthens the Terra Sonor. He builds up armies of individuals to actually go into the Veil itself and wage war against the Veil on their own territory. And he establishes himself as the ruler and leader of all Alyria.
So it's light reading.
Yeah.
For Abel it is, yeah.
Yeah. Abel with his 22 intelligence, yes. But this history seems to be that some action is taken in which he manages to manifest the divine rebus and accomplish his goal of becoming a god.
I stopped taking notes. Whoever's the note taker, will you all make sure we get that?
Why did you stop taking notes?
Don't even worry about it.
I just set my notebook down and never picked it back up. It was so well organized, and I
love it's the opposite of your character, which makes me laugh.
Yeah.
No, I was really into it. I think I was like sick. Or maybe I was out a session or something.
I think you were out a session.
This is notebook number 2 for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just
we are.
Okay, well, with a 15, can Abel sort of deduce? He's pretty good at history. Can he deduce through the architecture of the room or the tower that they're in, exactly where this location is?
It's difficult.
Or perhaps how far to the future? It's
not describing any place that you're familiar with, but it does mention in the writing of the text that the swirling clouds that surround the buildings, and so you can assume that this is probably taking place in the Cloud City. It's really difficult.
The profane Cloud City.
Yeah, perhaps. The profane Citadel. It's very difficult to tell distance and time because the way it started was with that moment of like, this seems to be picking up at a decision or inflection point that's about to occur now. So you can assume that this is not too far in the future.
So all this is telling me is that Victor Rylas plans to use Saurus as the divine rebus to gain power.
But there was something in the description of Saurus that it wasn't just Saurus.
Okay. with my perception, can I make that distinction of what?
So you're reading text. I described it as if you're seeing it, but it's because, hey, when you read, you picture things in your brain. But you can make an intelligence check to see if you can decipher more details about what exactly had happened to Saurus in this timeline.
Sure. Oh, 17 plus I got a lot of intelligence. Like a +6, right?
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So what you discover, what you kind of can assume is that Saurus has been discussed as a battery.
Mhm.
And the way that he was glowing with energy, it seems as if he was an overcharged battery. So perhaps it's that Victor Rylus managed to not only use the divine rebus powers that exist within Saurus, but combine those with another more powerful soul, and was using Saurus as the battery.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Bank that away for a later date.
Here on the most fucked up timeline.
Yeah. Trying to keep.
To be fair, I feel like all of Victor
Out of that
Rylus'
position.
future histories have got to be like some kind of
Some kind of fucked up, yeah.
So that's my first book. Also, didn't we shove a book about like artificing?
There's a book that you need to return called Artificing the Divine. It's not one that you've reshelved yet.
Oh, what's that probably? I will take a moment and read that one.
Okay, so first you need to reshelve this book. Make a charisma saving throw for me.
Sure. Charisma.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a +2 charisma. That's not too bad. Oh no. 9 +2, 11.
All right. So what all of you kind of see is as Abel's spending this like 15 or 20 minutes like scanning through this book, all of you are watching somebody who is getting more and more engaged in what they are reading. And then there's a moment where Abel is kind of closes the book and goes to reshelve it. But Abel, what you feel in your brain is there's more to this story. You need to read another volume.
I'd say it's a good idea. I should learn as much about Victor Rylus as I can.
If we're chilling with Abel, I feel like
as someone who saw this happen with Aryan,
Yeah.
would it be reasonable to say that Mar would be like eyes on Abel, making sure that this
Well,
doesn't
and I
happen again?
I said that something happens like that because
Yeah.
I felt the book say that already.
Yeah.
I said that.
So go make an insight check with advantage, Marlo, because you are watching Abel, to see if you can see this like turn in his countenance.
That's gonna be a 21.
Yeah. So as Abel is reshelving the book, you just see like that wash across his brain, almost as if he's having like an internal conversation with himself or with the book or something, and you see him starting to shift over to grab another one of the texts.
I just and then pull him back.
Okay. So you body Abel. All right, Abel.
Gently,
Yeah.
as to not disturb the shelves.
Oh, no.
Nice.
All right. Make a charisma saving throw, Abel.
Ooh, 17 +2, 19.
Okay, good. So you do not, you are able to kind of, as like the connection is broken for just a moment, you're able to shake it out of your head. So you do not actively fight Mar to go back to pulling it out another book.
Excuse me. Oh, I got lost in reading. I don't know what happened.
I told you
Yeah,
it was
this
very
library's-
dangerous.
This library's fucked. Sorry, Hildy. It's fucked up.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Hey, you should be proud. Sarah almost made me do a spit take.
It's usually me.
All right.
Yes. When I gave you all of your rules, I wasn't just fucking around.
So they were rules, not like, keep in mind kind of guidelines.
Not suggestions.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I got that when the giant spectral owl showed up.
Yes, that is a
I
curator.
gathered
You
that.
do not want to make the curator mad.
Does he just like hang out, or does he like go in the break room, or he just
This
like
is-
a big ghosty guy?
This is all pretty much his domain. And we just kind of help him with it.
What
Yeah.
is he?
He's an
Like,
owl.
I know giant owl thing, but like, if we had to put a name on it.
The curator.
Okay. So I was thinking maybe like,
Like Jim.
you.
Jim is a
Trying
perfectly
to-
reasonable name. Why
Are
is
you
everyone
trying
looking
to
at
help me, or are you just trying to get in my way right now? 'Cause I genuinely can't tell.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, I mean, is he like a? Is he like a celestial being? Is he a? I mean, God forbid, I don't think he's a demonic being, but
Marlo, from your training, you did
Yeah.
not get any essence of fey, fiend, or undead from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So more towards.
He's-
Interesting.
He's just divinatory.
Okay.
mm.
It's just always, as long as the library's been here.
Mhm.
Cool.
And I also would just like to say, don't risk it, because you've seen what comes out of owls. Now imagine it from an owl that big after eating.
Like a big pellet.
Yes.
Like a
So-
burrito.
Mhm, mhm. Well, not our size burrito.
That's a mighty big burrito.
Quite a large burrito.
Um,
So, are we done in this section?
I think so.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else anyone would like to read? Jury is completely out of her books.
His. Yeah.
And now Mr. Abel Hill has read one. Source, did you scratch at any?
No.
Okay, wonderful. And okay, not the olive, Kamata. There it is. You had one, correct?
Come on.
Yes, I read one. It's Kaimana.
Kaimana, I'm so sorry. I
Clamata's
better-
the olive. Kaimana's the otter.
see. I thought that by saying not the olive, I wasn't going to say the olive, but then I said the olive. And then
There's an olive named
Marlo-
Kaimana.
Yeah, I read one.
Okay. All right. And our other friends that I don't remember the name of.
Arian.
Me personally. So.
Arian, who's just kind of standing in the back, is like, I have read what I need to read while I'm here.
All right. Well, we will continue on then. And do you have a preference for what book you guys would like to put back? Or just go to whatever first door shows?
Yeah, let's go in logical.
Beautiful. I guess I lead them through to
Okay.
find doors.
All right.
as we walk away,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave a Nazi behind and
Okay.
let him just kind of hang out in this section.
A Nazi?
Anansi is his
I was like, there's got to be part of the story that I missed.
Like the spider god.
Anansi is a little spider that Abel carries around with him.
Not a Nazi.
It's a little robot
Non-
spider.
Anansi. Yeah.
You've got to enunciate.
Sorry.
I'm gonna divorce you.
All right. So you make a stealth check for Anansi.
Oh, he's got some plus to stealth. On pull up his little stealth, his little stats.
Does the Nazi have higher stealth than you?
I think so.
Probably.
I wasn't trying to dunk on you. Like I was just wondering.
He is a little guy.
Spider.
He's a little guy.
Of course he would.
He's a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
He's a small construct. He can hide in corners and in shadows and whatnot. Ooh, nice. 15 plus 4, 19.
19. I believe Mars' passive perception is higher than that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know why I don't have my character sheet pulled up. I mean, that seems right. Hold on.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't pull up my character sheet. What the
And
Maybe I just know my insight off the top of my
your
head.
insight
which
is
why I did that.
high. But I think, and maybe Saurus, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception.
I think it's gonna be
is 20.
Kaimana and Saurus are the
Yeah.
highest on passive.
What is it,
perception.
Saurus?
20.
20, and then Kaimana.
Ooh.
Passive is 14.
Oh, okay, so Saurus.
passive 16.
So the only person who notices Abel drop Anansi off into a hidden section of the library is Saurus.
Would I have noticed that?
No, I don't think your
'Cause I'm in
passive.
front of everybody.
Yeah, your passive perception is not high enough to catch that. Yeah. Mhm.
Cool.
So, Saurus, you watch Abel drop Anansi off as you all.
I don't want to have another conversation about ice, so I keep my mouth shut.
So
Wow.
you
Never
all
forget.
follow along with Hildy. Okay, Hildy, make an investigation check for me, please.
Ooh. Oh, I'm so sorry. 14.
14. Okay. So, as for everyone else, it seems as if Hildy is just randomly like cutting through stacks and heading in different directions. But eventually you arrive at the far wall of the outside of this section of the library. And you all just are watching as like Hildy is like looking up and down the wall and then maybe like moving down 10 stacks or so and then looking up or down the wall. It doesn't seem at all as if Hildy is looking for anything of importance or whatever. But then, Hildy, you do discover a few sigils. There's one further to the left, and then there's one that you passed further to the right, and that you know both of those would guide you towards one of the chambers that awaits you. And so it would be up to you whether you want to go right or left with the crew.
Go left.
Okay. So describe the sigil that awaits for you, them as you're activating the portal here.
It's a sigil.
It's just a sigil.
I'm sorry, I just was not prepared to.
No, it's okay. Because it's like, I want to think like, which room are you taking them to?
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
yeah.
okay. So the one that is that we're gonna head into is very, at the risk of being very basic, just feels like it's got all kinds of magic looking runes
Okay.
with it.
Cool.
And like maybe something that looks like an old school like wand that came from a tree.
Fantastic. And so as you watch, like Hildy takes out her kind of tools of the library and is activating, and the sigil grows on the door and then, or it grows on this brick that it's on and then spreads out down into an arch. And then you all watch as just like fading in front of you, the bricks behind the sigil fade. And then there is a hallway that leads out that wasn't here before. Hildy confidently walking through, very much like with the staircase up above. It's about 20 or 30 steps down this hallway before it vanishes into darkness. And you just kind of, Hildy trudges on through and you watch Hildy vanish into the dark. You all follow. As you pass through this shadowy wall, you step out onto the other side, and immediately there might be a sense of feeling disoriented or maybe perhaps a vertigo, because you find yourself standing in the center of what appears to be a starlit galaxy. All around you in all directions are the purples, blues, and greens and yellows of a swirling kind of galaxy of colors. There's distant stars and lights and things kind of floating in the air. And at your feet, what you are standing on appears to be a purely arcane, like almost like a ley line that is just disappearing off into space, kind of spiraling off into space. you found yourself in the magic and divine section of the library. Very clearly here, no books or shelves. And so, but this is the arcane. This is the magic and arcane section of the library.
Ooh.
So,
What are the other?
just to basically give you a general idea, Hildy will raise her hand up and essentially grab one of the stars
Mm-hmm.
that is near them, and it turns into a book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of, and then just pops it back up.
Yeah, and then as soon as Hildy releases it, it's almost like in Steven Universe when they bubble gems. It like gets bubbled and then floats away, and it's just like now a star that's kind of part of the backdrop here. Mhm.
Now, I believe the book that we have for this one is The Gems of Power, correct?
Shoot, all those are so interesting.
Does anyone have any interest in looking at it, or do you want to just head over to one of those little galaxy-looking sections and pop it over there?
Yes. Does this refer to the gems that that we found that empower the vestiges or what have you?
You can make an intelligence check based on the title and see if that is an assumption that Abel would draw.
Does it have a
Don't have
synopsis
anything
on the back?
It is a leather bound book with just the title, The Gems of
Didn't
Power, on the
engrave a
front.
little
Yeah.
synopsis.
There's no Wikipedia.
No
art.
gold leaf.
No.
22.
You would assume that based on the conversations around the gems of the subversion, that is probably what this book is talking about. And considering that many of these books are probably things that have been based on conversations that Marlowe has had with members of the Kinke Thurge, or just like recent events in the world, that would make sense as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to waste my second book of the day on this. I say we just shove the book.
I do too.
That's fine. One of you just...
Okay. So,
Let's
who
reshelve.
who would like to reshelve the Gems of
I want
Power?
to try.
Okay, Kaimana. So,
I'll give you inspiration just in case, because
Okay.
I'm nervous about
all right. So, Kaimana, you take the book, and it's a big book. It's probably like half of Kaimana's torso in size, and for a little thick. And you had watched Hildy just kind of like release the book into the air, and it vanished, and it bubbled and floated away. So do you mimic Hildy's actions in reshelving the previous book?
It's way bigger than a standard book for me, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna mimic Hilda's actions, but I feel like I need a running start. Like,
Okay.
just gonna kind of like, eh.
All right. So I need 2 rolls from you then. Come on. I need.
As he goes screaming by, I'm going to be prepared to grab him as he goes sailing off to swing and use his momentum to swing him back. onto the
He does have a leash attached to him, so that would be fairly easy.
True. This is why I'm
He's
used to
able going flying behind him if he does this.
We will see. So first, I need a charisma saving
Way
throw,
too
Kaimana.
small for me.
And then after the charisma saving throw, I'll need a acrobatics check.
So 14 charisma saving throw
Okay, you're fine.
and acrobatics check.
Actually, you're not fine.
Oh,
I just remembered you have.
you already said it. It's fine.
No, because the DC is based on, do you have a personal connection to the text? And there's no one in this group aside from Marlowe who has a more personal connection with the information carried within this text. So Kaimana, what was your acrobatics check?
I haven't.
Go ahead and roll that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just made the dumbest comment. I was like, why would I have
No.
and then thinks about the fucking gem in my sword.
That's a
No
what?
reason at all, Mar. No reason at all.
Okay, hang on. I rolled the wrong.
I
thing.
mostly
Okay.
think about my cool sword, not the
15
gem
after
that
that
gives
shit.
it power.
Okay, so Kamana, as you're going, like you kind of like you back up to the edge of the ley line, and then you run forward to the other edge, and you go to like chuck it, but it's like almost as you're about to let go, your brain goes, "No, hold on," and so you hold it, and the release of force kind of forces you to move forward. And you step off the end of the ley line on the other side, and you hit 0 gravity, and you begin to just kind of float out into space, with the book still clutched into your hand. Like, so
Abel will grab onto the leash.
okay, make a strength check,
leash
Abel.
and brace myself.
Everyone gave me shit for leashing Kaimana. Look,
Oh, wait,
it
wait,
was the right
I had,
move.
You had
He's got an
inspiration.
inspiration, right?
Oh, you do have
Yeah.
inspiration, yeah.
Yeah. Let me add that to my
Charisma check.
charisma check.
Okay.
Hang on. It's a D8.
Yeah. No, D10. Mhm.
It's a D10 now, baby.
Yep.
Woo.
Woohoo!
Good jury, progressing.
I'm not taking any more levels in
Growth.
for a little bit. Enjoy while it lasts.
Okay, that's a 22 to my.
Okay. So as you kind of hit that
Better.
0 gravity point, you like you hear just like a tingling of music in your ear from Jury's lute, and like that addition that he provided you, you manage to release the book, and it sails out, and you watch it just get enveloped in a bubble and then float off into the space of the room. Abel, meanwhile, what was your strength check, Abel? Or your
Oh, I had to. Oh, shit. Yeah.
And I'd said I was going to try and grab his
Yeah.
thing to swing him around.
yeah. Go ahead and make a strength check as well, Source.
Straight 14.
Okay, so Abel, you kind of plant your feet and grab, and you get dragged a little bit, Saurus.
8.
I'm gonna mage hand this because this is not gonna end well.
Can I flash of genius?
You can
my
flash of genius your strength check, yeah.
And I see Source making his way towards me. So
It'll be more beneficial for you to flash of genius Saurus, because you are successful. It's just like you're on an arcane hallway and there's not real traction. So you have Kaimana and you've stopped Kaimana's advance. It's just a matter of Saurus helping you to stop would be the final nail in that.
well, because I'm so intelligent and so smart, as I see Source approaching, I'll reach my hand out and grab his hand. And flash of genius adds 6 to the check.
Okay, and then Saurus uses that to like swing the momentum around, and Kaimana, eventually you sail back over the ley line and gravity kicks back in and you hit the ground, and then Abel, you manage to kind of stop your forward advance as well.
Whew.
See, no problem.
From there.
No problem at all.
By the way,
Being a
you
librarian
lose
is fun.
0 gravity past the ley lines.
Well, better that than falling forever and ever and ever into an empty, endless void.
It's basically the same thing, but you're floating.
But you're going up instead of down.
But there's still an. Don't worry about it.
No.
Well, that's done. Good job.
Yeah.
Congratulations, to all of you.
Yeah, we did it. Good job, team.
Now, so for a depiction of what is in this section, this is the magic and arcane section of the library, or the magic and divine section. Literally any spell ever invented, or workings of magic, perhaps conversations around things like divine rebuses. Those books would be found in this section of the library if there's a particular book that you're interested in reading.
Can I look at Arian to kind of gauge? I'm like, hey, is what he wants here? Is this the one? Just kind of like look at her on that.
She kind of nods in your
Okay.
direction.
I'm going to look for the divine rebus spell book. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be here.
So just like with all things magical, Magical is about expressing your intention on the world. And so your ability to choose a book from this section of the library is about expressing intention.
Okay.
And so make what would be for you.
Can I like very deliberately like see? I don't know if this would work, but like Mar would be thinking like, I want the book that Armon wants, like, and see if that the library will recognize.
Like what? So what was okay? Cool. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make a charisma check with advantage.
Which you know I'm so good at.
Because Ariane knows what the book is, so it's basically go ask her.
Did you natural 20 a charisma check?
I rolled a 1 and then a natural 20.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good. So Marlo, as you're kind of thinking, like, I want this book. You don't know the title of the book. You don't know anything like that. All of a sudden you just see kind of like a distant star like shimmer for a moment and then like shoot out of the sky. And it almost looks like this meteor that's going to crash into the ley line where you're standing, but it seems to like flame out just as it gets to you. And then this bubble kind of appears in front of you and lowers down into your hand. And once it touches you, this book that's about, the size of maybe like a foot tall and half a foot wide, but thick, with heavy vellum parchment pages, falls into your hand, and it says, "On the construction of a divine rebus."
I'm gonna read this book.
Okay, you open it, and the stamp on the inside for the book is the last time that this book was read was Victor Rylus. And the date seems to match about 27 years ago.
Can I? No, I don't think I. No, keep going.
Okay, no, you're good.
My brain is working, but not in a way that I think Mara's brain can work. So
okay.
Just to move on.
Good. So you start kind of reading through. And what you discover as you're reading this book is that it is it's like almost like a Calc 4, like mathematical problem book. It just seems to be page after page after page of arcane doodlings and sketchings and diagrams and lists of ingredients and tools. It is literally a history of the work of the mages of Azulore in discovering how to create this divine rebus. The part that you think, based on your intelligence, that Ahriman would be the most interested in is that there is an appendix to this book that seems to be on fresher and newer paper.
Oh.
That
it was updated.
That the book is updated. And in this updated version, this is called The Perfection of the Rebus. And it marks and annotates changes, and it like specifically calls back to like on page 37 subsection D, alternate this rune for this rune. Like it lists the change. It's almost like an error code correction on on like a programming tool where you have to go back and correct the program. And so Ahriman had access to the original, in which was what he used to create Saurus,
which was inherently flawed.
But there was a flaw in the process, and now this is the more the perfected version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with my intelligence, though not being a magic person, am I able to memorize in my head the updated material, just what it is needed to update?
As Hildy said, you are free to take notes.
Oh, but I don't want this in writing, Josh.
Okay, yeah. That is fine. Yes, you like go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
Okay. If I have to write it down, I will. I just don't love. I don't want this written down where I could go, oh gee, what's this?
Marlo knows enough about the inner workings of your fellow teammates that if you were to copy this down, Abel could create a image of it, and then you could destroy the paper.
I got an 18. Does that seem like it'd be enough?
You feel like there's a lot of notes here, but you feel like you can get much of it down, but it is completely outside of Marlo's wheelhouse.
Oh, damn it. Okay, I'll take the notes. I'll go write all this down.
Okay, good. As you're writing it down, the part that it takes you about 20 minutes or so to kind of copy the notes down, because you're kind of shorthanding like page numbers and changes. And as you're copying it down, the part that is most interesting to you about all of this probably is there's a weird element of like when this book seems to have been written, that the original construction of the book before the addendum seems to have been published 50 years ago.
Who wrote the addendum?
The addendum, which was added probably in the last 10 years or so, was written by Maester Athanor.
Huh.
Maester Athanor.
It was 50 years ago when everyone fell asleep.
Based on what it,
Wow.
yeah. Maester Athanor was the leader of the Thaumaturge,
Right.
who wanted your help in constructing a divine rebus.
Yeah, the freak.
Freak. Oh yeah.
The one who in this world does not have supposedly
Yeah, they
does
don't
not have the
know.
perfect recipe for the divine rebus.
Yes.
Or at least said he didn't. Yeah.
True.
A little. I have words for that person. Josh. Insane move here that I want to propose.
Okay.
Insane in the membrane.
I write all this down perfectly. I fuck up one key element.
Okay.
In writing it down.
Okay.
Like just purposely write something down in a way that looks like it would. Yep, that makes sense. But I just swap it so that it would not be the perfect.
As we'll say, because with the 18, it wasn't enough for Marlowe to memorize complex spell. Right, but
writing this down.
It wasn't. You weren't able to memorize complex spell work, but
Right.
you were able to identify the least obvious location where you could change something that was like a linchpin. Like you know to avoid any of the major components. So it's almost like you go to like an and statement.
Yeah.
And you alternate the syntax of an and statement.
Just something that would put a wrench in the thing, but would not be an obvious
Yes.
red flag.
You are able to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Then I take that with me and I tell no one of what I've done here.
Okay, good. All right. So as you go to put the book back, you make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
That's a 12.
12. Thankfully, you are not emotionally attached to this as a person, and the book floats out of your hand and rises up into the space and disappears.
I just turned back to the group and just got a nod, like, cool, I did the thing.
Good job.
I am curious, what other types of magic are described here in these books? Is there anything about Zephrysite, its origins, how it can be used to increase spell power?
You want to try to find a book about Zephrysite?
Yes, I was asking the librarian, but
yeah.
I'm looking at just.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So Abel, as you're thinking about that, go ahead and make a charisma check for me, please.
All this charisma.
I love it.
I know you do.
It's like a
19. And I know I gotta look. I think it's like a +2 or something to charisma. Is it maybe a 0? I don't know. Oh, it's +2 here.
So 21?
Yes.
So as you're kind of thinking about it and like you are putting your intention out, the part within yourself that you combine with your intelligence to activate the magic that you use, you suddenly kind of like see, like through the ley lines at your feet, you see a star kind of rising up from beneath. And then it hits the ley line and floats up in front of you and blinks for a second and then turns into one of those bubbles and then descends into your hand. And you have a book here that says, let's see, the third moon of Alyria.
That's it.
That's the title of the book.
Does Alyria have 2 moons?
Alyria has 2 moons.
And there's a 3rd moon, apparently.
There was a 3rd moon.
Does Abel have any historical knowledge of a 3rd moon that used to
Make
float in the skies?
Make a religion check. Very high DC.
Religion? Yeah, religion, I think. Let me see. Oh, not bad. I roll this one in D&D Beyond. Shameless plug. Okay. Oof, an 18.
You don't know, from your kind of historical background, like this would clearly have to be older than anything. And the only thing that you can think of is that you remember some kind of like heretical text passages that you were reading as like a moody teenager in your religious studies. And it was alternative cosmologies of the origins of the world. And there was a mad like priest who had been kind of charged by the Temple of the Eight as a heretic in his time. But he had postulated that the gods did not, in fact, originate from outside of this realm and then discover it, but that they were born here from a 3rd moon.
Mm-hmm.
And that when they were born, the fragments of that moon rained down and helped to form what would later become the land masses of Alyria.
Some Evangelion shit.
I want my 2nd book to be...
You haven't read this book yet. This is best just based on the title.
I know. I could spend time looking at... yeah, sure. I'm all about Zephyrsight, and
I mean, you can carry it with you until you decide which book you want to read, and we'll just reshelve it later.
It's true. Yeah.
That is true.
Because I'm assuming the count is when you open a book, not by the books that you touch.
And the only rule is that you cannot remove a book from the restricted section. So as long as you don't carry it back up into the main library, then you are okay.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I will hold on to this and see if it will satiate my curiosity.
Yeah. The only other thing about this book, it does have it was the recollection of the story of the heretic that hit you. In the sky, the main moon of Alyria, Selena, is a large, it looks like Earth's moon. The smaller moon, Rylal, is like a orangish color in the sky, and it's smaller and a little bit further out. You thought that this was just kind of like a design work on it, but as you're looking at it, the 3rd moon from this heretic's vision was a crystalline blue color, and there is just a central blue dot at the center of the page, the front cover underneath the title.
Interesting. Okay. Noted.
All right, but you just want to carry this one with you and then decide if you want to read it later?
Yeah.
Okay.
And can I just check in telepathically with Anansi, the spider?
Yeah.
And I'll message you.
Okay, you can message me. Yep. All right. So anybody else magical or divine texts?
I'm sweating, but I don't touch anything. Jury is literally.
I know. Abel's like probably nudging Jury, like, look at all of this.
Stop! Don't. Jury has his eyes closed. He's like holding them.
He is.
How many books has Jury read already?
Jury hit his limit.
He told you.
I'm gonna show Aryan what I wrote down.
Okay.
Just to like prove that I did in fact write this down.
Okay.
And that I did uphold the deal.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask if there's any books on the Death God.
This is the Arcane and this is the Magic and Divine section. So, Kaimana, Make a charisma saving throw.
Oh. 15.
Okay. So as you're kind of thinking, like, I wonder if there are books about Caiaphas here, you see, like, in the one section of this galaxy sky where there seems to be an absence of stars, you see this glowing or growing, swirling mass, like a black hole that's absorbing everything around it. And it begins to move in your direction. And it seems like it's getting bigger, but it's just moving into your periphery. But then it kind of gets above you and blocks out much of the stars and things around. And then from its center, you get like that beam of ejected energy from a black hole. And it like lands in your hand, and a book of black leather appears in your text or in your hand, and it says "Death Gods, both old and new."
Mm.
I think I'm gonna do the same thing that Abel did, and just hold on to it for now and decide later.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Anyone else? Marlo?
Do I see the title?
Yeah, I mean, you guys like the
And new.
the lane is not large. You could all see everything. Yeah, it's like silver font. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, my brain breaks for a second at that, and then I have no choice but to fucking accept that. Move on, and just I'll talk Kamana and go, hey, if you end up reading that book, would you mind telling me what it says?
I mean, it's probably going to be about death gods, but sure.
Yeah, it's just... Come on, how many death gods are you aware of? Is it one? Is it just like the one god? Is it the one god of death that we all know of? Just the one, and this one seems to imply there are multiple?
Well, that makes sense, because death has many faces.
Okay, so yes, and that would make sense, that a god had many faces, but if there is in fact a new god of death, that's popped up, it just seems like it would be something, important to know about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So you know
Yeah,
how
I'll let you. If I read that, I'll let you know.
Yeah, just let me know if you do end up reading that, because it seems like it would be a really cool, interesting read.
Would you like to read it?
No. But if you read it, I would love to talk to you about it.
Oh yeah, what language is it?
So the title is written in common.
Okay.
Hilda's just standing here going, I feel like there's something behind that because it was very pointed.
No inside check required.
I just have vision of Kaimana becoming the new god of death.
We just feel very strongly about religion. You know?
I just, I think it's important to know that if new gods are popping up,
yeah,
that seems relevant.
I just love it's like,
well,
I love Hildy being like, all right, something's off with her and also the otter. This is
she's not great at social interactions, but she's, bad enough to know.
Just like like any text outside of this library would say that there was one god of death, and now he's gone.
And dead. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Dead.
I mean,
dead. Quote, unquote.
Not here.
Not here.
But
so the god of death is dead. He's not very good at being the god of death, then, is he?
Well,
he's not
he's
dead.
Great at it.
He's the one that's he's one of the two gods that's not dead.
Yeah. And he is responsible for the ones that are dead.
Yeah.
So, he did do a good job at that.
Also, like, if you're the god of death and you're dead, that's kind of like part of the territory.
Yeah, it's kind of like peak achievement.
Yeah.
That's like full retirement with a fantastic 401k.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like we just talk about him in a really like chill, fun way that's just interesting to me as someone who like when he kind of broke the world. But I don't know. That's personal.
Let's go to the next section.
No, hold on. I'm very confused with what's happening right now because I can tell there's something, but I don't understand what's happening.
Kamon is a druid, and
Right.
so druids are like nature-based, and so they're very in tune with death and stuff like that. I'm gonna roll deception against you.
Which
Is this
you can
working?
roll an
Is this working?
insight check, Hildy. Mhm.
I rolled a nat 1. Hello, everyone.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna-
it matters unless Hildy also rolls a
I'm-
nat 1.
I'm gonna use
I rolled a 7.
It's
Oh,
very clear that that he is lying to you, Hildy.
I'm like
I thought that we did
stuttering.
really well with each other back in the other one, and I kind of helped you out in that whole situation while you're reading about your mother. And now I feel like you have definitely stepped behind my back in that situation, and I'm a little hurt.
What?
A little hurt.
Huh?
Can I whisper to Mar, like, do we tell Hildy
About what?
about, you know,
There's so much we could tell. I don't even know where you want to start on that one.
well,
What are you getting at?
she's probably wondering why I want to read about death.
Yeah?
You know?
No.
Okay.
Not if you think what I think you're gonna say.
Okay, then yeah, I'll stick quiet.
Okay, Hildy, I'm sorry about lying to you. This is
Can I
very
overhear
overwhelming.
any of that conversation?
Soris, you
like-
would, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like Soris and Abel
I
probably would
think
have
I
heard.
think we were taking advantage
Kinda
of Hilda
tethered
being
to the guy.
distracted by Jury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hildy and Jury.
I
implies
reach in and
stumbling.
lean in and listen to whisper to Mark. Is there something new on the list?
I have put so many times that we can't talk about the stones, and that's one of them. I'm like getting heated.
Okay.
It's
Okay, that is on the list.
been on
Okay,
the-
I'm good.
It's been on the list.
Yes, I just wasn't sure if that's what we were talking about or not because we weren't
I
talking
think
about it.
that's- Is that what you're talking about, Kaimana?
No, it's just gonna talk about how like I'm friends with them, you know.
Okay, that's not on the list.
And you know, and they,
Should be on the list if it's
I
not on the
feel
list.
like what you're
I'll add it to the
interpreting
list.
as a friendship is you are interacting with memories, and that's great. But it's, I would hesitate to run around saying that you're friends with someone who caused the death of many, many, many people and many gods.
You know, when you put it like that,
Yes,
Well, like-
I say it not because I don't believe you, and I believe.
How close is our librarian friend?
He's distracted
I mean-
by me.
Hildy and
Yeah,
Jury
no,
kind of
like-
are off to the side.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 I just picture
No,
Hildy
Yeah, I'm
turning
not
around.
trying. I'm just trying to hide this from Hildy. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like make
No,
this
no.
a one-on-one moment.
No.
Like,
Mars is very animated in her whispers.
I'm simply worried about what people will think and do to you if you say that. Because people don't like him. People are very scared of him, and they have a lot of reason for that.
I understand.
Thank you.
All right.
Meanwhile, you got Hilda
All right,
and Jury
Josh.
over here. just
Yeah,
kinda
Hildy
like,
and Jury, how do you? Yeah.
I'll say, Josh, ready? Okay. Given the nat 1, right?
Yep.
Jury's trying to explain, floundering, and he's like, I just feel like I should be like extra nice to you, knowing what we know. And then he kind of like trails off as if he said something very bad.
That's
you
what
know
she's just like. That's what
about
I'm saying.
this
You guys are acting like you know
city.
things that I don't know, and you're whispering things, and I can't fully help you if I don't understand. And then there's pointed conversations, and then you straight up lie to me after I thought we were becoming friends.
Jury's like sweating, like stuttering. You could tell he has something he's not telling you. Essentially, I don't know. It's one of those things where, if I tell you, it's probably worse if you know. I don't know. Guys, can you all come back here, please?
What are you talking about? That
I'm getting
is not
shaky.
related to the god of death.
Oh, I'm getting slippery. I gotta get out of here. I'm saying too many things.
Hi,
not
Hildy.
getting
I'm
slippery.
sorry.
Did you say
that-
anything on the list?
No, but it should be added
then
to the
we're good.
list.
Oh, Hildy.
There's
Hi.
what list?
We have a list.
We have
of
lists
things.
for different things.
We have lists, and it's because some of us like to talk a lot about things that are adventure guild secrets, and
Usually it's not me. Usually
Kaimana's gonna nod at Abel, be like,
and unfortunately sometimes because we are a guild and we run into a lot of things that have to remain secret, we do have to often remind ourselves of things we are not supposed to talk about to people outside of the adventuring guild.
we have an adventurer client confidentiality clause.
Hildy, how about this? Is there anything you want to know about the outside world? We could tell you anything you need to know, or that you've been curious about.
Work in a place that tells me everything that's happening. I told you earlier, I don't keep a journal because everything just writes itself here.
Can
I
any
don't
one
know
of
if it
us-
tells you everything.
Can any one of us do illusions?
I can do a little.
I think Jury and Abel both can. Mhm.
No, I was thinking that-
so offended.
that Hildy's only read about these things, but doesn't have a visual point of reference. So
That's
that
true.
describing a parrot versus seeing a parrot is a very different thing.
Some
So-
of the
That does not mean
could-
turn into a parrot. I point at Kaimana.
So late for that.
Shall we go show up the next book?
I suppose so, but just know that it's going to be very hard for me to trust you all if you guys can't trust me. And right now it feels like everyone can't trust me because you're not telling me anything.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not that we don't trust you, it's that we don't trust anyone, including ourselves.
And yet I still take that personal.
Wait, hold on.
I mean,
We
you
don't
saw the
trust
mom
each
issue.
other. That
Oh,
feels
I
like
trust
something-
you, but we don't trust me to not say things. That's
No, we trust the ones
This
you
feels
know
like
you
we're
shouldn't.
unpacking a lot
You
in
won't.
the space right now, and I don't know if this is the best environment to do that.
My favorite is that this is happening in like this extraplanar space,
Stars.
like stars.
Beautiful here.
Random black hole in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Fine.
Let's keep going, and we'll maybe shelf this conversation. I didn't mean for the pun, and then I
Oh.
realized the pun as soon as I said it, and I wanted to kill myself. So
was
let's
a
move
good
on
pun.
from that. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Stop.
Nope,
well,
nope,
that,
look at
that's
me,
what
look
makes
at
it a
me.
good pun.
As a librarian, it was a great one.
Well, I
hate it.
appreciate that coming from you, Hildy. Thank
I
you.
did giggle in my head. It did not appear on my face, but I did giggle in my head.
That's something. So I'll take the win, I guess.
There's not always a lot of library puns, and when they come, we are real happy about them.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I could give you that.
That's one step that's good. So Hilda will then just turn and start to walk with you all again.
Okay. Is there a particular sigil that you're looking for, Hildy?
Not in particular, but there is one that I see and definitely decide to walk past.
Okay, cool. You walk past that one. Okay.
Yep, and that one, just so you all know, it just looks like old breaking, like things that have just kind of deteriorated in time, so you can't fully see all of the full sigil to it.
Yeah.
But she definitely changes her demeanor a little bit as she walks by that one, gets a little bit straighter, almost like steps a little bit away from it as she continues on. But then, Josh, do you have a preference or just pick one?
You can choose one. And you can tell me if it's the special one or if you want to do one of the other ones.
Let's do one more before that one.
Okay, cool. Then just you can describe the sigil and we'll head there.
Beautiful. So the next one is going to be one that looks like it could be more books that are stacked up, but it's almost like it's sitting up higher, almost like it's out of reach, like you're a kid and you're trying to reach something that's a little bit higher so that you can reach later when you grow up, kind of a thing. So it just looks like something that's too high. I'm not good at this.
Oh no, that's I know exactly which one you're talking about. All right, so as Hildy is walking, and what you're seeing is that Hildy is seems to be looking at constellations that are appearing in the sky, and walks by one, and as looks at it, you can kind of see this constellation is crumbling and falling apart before your eyes, and Hildy actively walks past that one. But the next constellation that Hildy gets to does appear to be stacks of books that are higher up, and in a it almost kind of seems like a weirdly structured building. It's kind of difficult to tell because it is a constellation. But Hildy activating the runes, and you can see as Hildy is interacting with this constellation, points and lines are being drawn between the stars, and this image is beginning to take form in the sky. And what you kind of see is this imprinted image of a temple, or maybe a religious building, but it does appear to be upside down in the sky. And as Hildy kind of finishes connecting the dots, the constellation zeroes out, and the ley line that you're on shifts and moves up to where it kind of punched a hole in the sky, and you all feel yourself slowly moving along the ley line up to that space. You go through, and you all tumble out onto the floor of a vaulted, if I can describe this in a way that is easy for you to picture in your head, a vaulted floor. So instead of a vaulted ceiling, you're on a vaulted floor, and you kind of all tumble out, and you all kind of coalesce towards the center of it. There are long buttresses that kind of line the floor in front of you. And it's weird because it's like you are standing on the roof of a structure. And as you look up, you see above you a temple. There are pews, there are stained glass windows, there's the stone flagon floor, and stacks upon stacks of books dripping like stalactites from the ceiling of this room.
So cool. Holy shit.
But you are in as a temple, a religious temple structure. All of the stained glass here does depict gods that you're familiar with, but it also depicts a lot of things that you are very unfamiliar with.
Well, this is gonna make me question some things.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go find the
here?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was gonna go find the Allosaur window and go pray while we're doing this.
Okay.
Please don't let me read any of these fucking books.
Yeah, you can find the wind, the one that's depicting the god of wind is kind of there, and you discover it and you kind of pray underneath it. Absolutely.
Please God, don't let me read another book. Please, I want to so badly.
So this is. Go ahead.
Can I see spines of some of the books? What are just some?
So it's very difficult because it's almost as if this building, or this section of the library, was constructed in a way to prevent random passerbys from seeing the books that are present within it. That these are dangerous enough to keep out of sight.
If only someone had boots of flying.
Mm-hmm.
I look down at my boots, and then I look at Sora. What?
I point up.
Yeah.
Can you see them?
Sure. I'll just kind of jump up.
Okay. So you
insight on what I could.
You fly up, and you're looking at the stacks of books, and it's each of the books is kind of written. I mean, there are books in here that are about each of the gods. So there's a whole book that's about the gods of knowledge and the god of the forge. I mean, there's all of these kind of things. There are entire histories of books in here that you seem to think are about the creation of the world and the descriptions of how the world was originally created. And some of those align with your understanding from a religious background of the truth. Some of the books, however, very clearly do not align with your understanding of the truth. There are books in here that are written about the primals. There are books that are written in here about, which, you know, from a teaching perspective, the primals were all killed by the gods, and then this new order was established after their death. But the book titles seem to imply that the primals are still alive. There are books about the worship of Caiaphas and why Caiaphas's actions seem to be appropriate. There are from what Marlo understands of what she's looking at, is that this book seems to be this section of the library seems to be about keeping heretical texts or apostate written texts out of the hands of regular people. So this, based on what the librarian told you, you think that you're probably in the Apocrypha section.
Cool.
And the book that you all have to give back is A God of Madness.
Can I take that book and reshelve it?
Yeah, sure. So it's very unclear because it's just like the stacks of books are just like between pews or like on the rectory or whatever. Like it's very difficult to kind of tell where this book would be shelved. But you kind of fly up to one of the stalactite shelves, and it's almost as if like you're holding the book that it wants to leap out of your hand and reconnect to a stalactite. So you're kind of holding it and you just release it and it flies up, and then it lands like in a cloud of like dust that poofs off and falls upwards to the floor, which is above you, off of the books that it landed onto. And then you hear like a flutter of sound kind of off in the distance of the room. Like that reconnection of the book like activated something in this space.
Can I tell where that was coming from?
It seems to be so like this is a very like European construction church, so it has like the long central hallway, but then like the two offshoot hallways in the middle. It was from one of those offshoot hallways.
Can I follow the noise?
Sure. Yeah. So do you want to do so stealthily, or do you want to do so just fine?
Well, I said stealth, so I will.
Okay, go ahead and roll a stealth check. I figure Mar would do that anyway, so that's why I remind.
Yeah. Jeez.
Now you get to watch Mar disappear.
Do we on the ground hear this noise?
No, because the ceiling is about 40 feet or 50 feet above you. And it was kind of around the corner of the ceiling. It's just that because of where Mar is, she was able to hear it.
The acoustics are better.
What was your
Do
stealth
we notice Mar change in posture?
You would notice that, yeah, Mar.
33.
33. So the change of posture that you notice, Saurus, is that Mar actively goes into like a hide mode. It's very difficult to hide from your perspective on the ground, like looking up at her. But you kind of see like she darts behind a pew and then kind of hits a wall and slides along the wall and then peers around a corner down that archway. Mar,
I whisper to everybody else, it's like, take cover. And I scoot to behind one of the things with a beam.
I will signal to the group
yeah.
before I do this, because I'm not trying to hide.
No, yeah.
I will just signal like kind of like a hold like kind of thing, and then I start moving.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So as you kind of peek around the corner, Mar, you catch sight of something kind of like flutter from one like of the pews in this hallway over to another, and you see like one of the stalactites of books kind of shake and is being disturbed by their presence. And then you see another like kind of flutter from another space to a little bit closer to you. But there's one particular one that this seems to be the one that was probably like heard the sound of the book being reshelved. And you see like crawling along the ceiling, a humanoid structured creature, kind of white gray in coloration, but covered in like very soft, like downy fur. But giant eyes, probably like this big on either side, like multifaceted antenna
Googly
rising
eyes.
off its head, and then these giant moth-like wings falling off of its back, and it's kind of shaking and looking in your direction. It releases from the ceiling, turns over, and so it's upright, and begins to kind of fly in the direction of where it would be able to spot your friends. It is a giant, like, moth person. Yeah.
Oh
Does it? Do I get a sense
Mothman.
of if it's ready to fight or if it's just doing its job? Like,
It does it. So it looks like it's not aggressive, like it's investigatory. But what you can tell is that the two stacks of books that were currently, like, two of the other ones were on. You watch as, like, one of the books is just, like, gobbled into pieces by this creature.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not great.
Oh. Can I message Hildy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, weird question. Feathered humanoid things with moth wings supposed to be eating books? Is that normal? No? Okay.
Nope. Those are book moths. They are very dangerous. You need to get out of there.
Great, will do. I go back to the group and signal that we should fucking go.
Okay.
Very quickly.
All right. So you fly back down to the group. With that knowledge in place, does everyone want to roll stealth, or do you want to sit here in the open with that moth kind of flying in your direction?
Josh, what kind of creature is a book moth?
It is a book moth.
You don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
How does the library
What CR is a book moth?
Oh no.
So it's an aberration, so you wouldn't be able to.
no.
Yeah.
Dang
Yeah.
it. All right, yeah. I don't
Yeah, we definitely stealth.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So everyone.
How does the library stop the book boss from destroying its collection?
We killed them.
Whose responsibility is that?
Well, it's one of my things that I need to do now that I know it's there. I need to take care of it
Oh, do you want us to
because
like?
otherwise it will continue to eat and destroy the books.
Do you want us to like do this now?
We are an adventuring guild. If you need assistance,
I mean, if I had more people to do it, it would get done faster.
Okay,
cast
and
pass
I'm gonna go
without.
stealth back and try to stealth jump one of the
Okay, cool.
moth that was coming towards us.
That sounds good. With
I
that.
cast pass without a trace.
Okay, everyone make a stealth check, and then like this will determine whether you all get a surprise round on the moths anyway. So everyone make a stealth check. Plus
36.
10. 36. So you make a stealth check, Hildy, and then add 10 to whatever your stealth check was.
Plus the 2 that I already have.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
add 12 to yours.
Okay, so don't know why I suddenly forgot how to do math in that section. 26.
26. Nice. Good. Abel.
31.
31. Jury.
25.
25. Marlo.
40.
I activate my force ballista.
Okay, good. So you got your first
Sorry.
activated for the next hour.
You cast pass without a trace on the rogue.
Yep. So Hildy, you watch as Abel activates, like he takes this little like mechanical elephant out of a pouch and he sets it down and it like bursts with magical energy and comes alive and like stretches and shakes and its ears kind of go up as he sets it down.
She is enthralled with that.
All right, so Marlo, you slide back up to the wall. This moth creature is floating along the ceiling, and it comes out into the main chamber, and it's kind of scanning the main chamber, and you can see its eyes like circles of light, like along its eyes, like it's as it takes in all of the light of the room around, because it does have bonus to its perception. Good, but it still doesn't spot any of you because the lowest stealth roll was a 26. And so it kind of flies over the section and you just kind of hear this like sound like echolocation of dolphins in the ocean, like kind of flash out across the room from it. And you hear the shuffling from the other two in the other chamber as they're like made aware that like this one's scanning the room. But this one is unaware of your presence.
Okay. Can I very quickly kick the lightning on my swords and jump it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, make your 2 attacks. Yeah. And with advantage, so you'll get sneak attack as the creature is surprised.
So the first one is going to be a 24 to hit.
A 24 to hit. That hits.
And the second one will be a higher than that to hit.
Hold on, let's see. Just double check. I always forget this rule about it, and I just want to make sure that is a surprise round. If you're surprised, is it a critical hit? Is a surprised creature hit with a critical? Let's see. Any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit. Both of those.
Oh dear God!
Both of those hit. So the first hit is a critical hit with your sneak attack, and then the second is a critical hit without your sneak attack.
Josh, you shouldn't. Josh.
Sarah, just so you know, Marlowe deals an obscene amount of damage.
Very much so.
So yes, okay. So from, I guess I'll describe it. So what Hildy would see is that Mar, who has been unarmed this whole time, just reaches their hand out into nothing and pulls out from like just seemingly nowhere two like very cool rapiers. One that has a little bit of like seawater attached to it. And the other one, I can't remember what the other
It's like it's covered in like vine, like the handle is like vines and leaves. Yeah.
Yeah. And that one, weird, has a glowing gem. I don't know. And then they very quickly, which I actually have to do this because this is Blood Hunter rules, do a quick cut with one of the swords on their palms and let the blood drop down into those swords, which makes lightning go onto both of them, and then they attack the creature. But I really quickly have to take damage from myself. One point of damage.
While Marlowe is calculating this massive critical hits, everyone roll initiative.
Do we get sneak attack as well, or?
So if you have a ranged attack against this creature, you can take it because that would be a surprise. It is surprised, yeah.
Can't believe this.
Okay, yeah, I've got a ranged.
Ever since I got this item, I roll good initiative. I hate this.
Okay. While Marlowe's calculating,
instead of doing a range attack, can I do a buff?
Sure. Yeah.
Myself?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah, because you basically there's no such thing as like a surprise round, but as long as your initiative is all higher than this creature's, then you get to take like a bonus action before it acts. Like it's not going to act in the first round of combat.
Sure.
Okay. So 25 to 20.
I got a 23.
Churi.
Oh, good job.
It's bad. I should be getting bad for my AC bonus item.
Okay.
Good job.
19 to 15.
18.
I'm at 15 exactly.
Okay. 14 to 10.
14.
Abel. Come on, what'd you get?
I got an 8.
8. Okay.
Yes, Sarah, I
would
got
like
this.
to do a ranged attack though.
That's fine. And the moth, I rolled a natural 2 on the moth, so they are at the bottom of the initiative anyway. So you all go before them.
I got a magic item that adds AC if I roll the lowest, and ever since I've got it, that's only happened once.
It's called a participation ribbon.
Oh
Yes.
no!
So it's a meme
good.
now that I've gotten it. It's only kicking
And
once.
Marlowe, I'm treating your initiative as the top of the round, just because you're going first. So it's fine.
Okay.
All right. So what was your damage, Marlo?
Oh no, I'm still doing it.
Oh God. Okay.
There's a lot of dice.
Because we don't want to like.
I had to pull out my calculator. Okay, there's a lot happening right now.
Because we don't want like other people to try to take actions in the event that you might kill this one outright. So
Well, one thing, as bonus action, Saurus is going to activate his Fists of the Dragon.
Sure. Are you doing cold damage for them still?
Yes, fire in the library would be bad.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cold.
Good job. Good job.
Josh,
I'd be
Yeah.
very upset.
I've done 67 points of damage.
Oh my God.
It's for both attacks, 67.
For
Okay.
both attacks.
All right. Cool.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't add something.
Oh my God.
Hold, I didn't add my final modifier thing? 74?
74. So
Like I said, Sarah, obscene amount.
so
of
67.
Okay, no, that was like a critical with a.
Yeah, that was a very impressive.
That made that very good.
like-
and I rolled like on my sneak attack damage. Nothing was on that. Those dice was lower than a 4 on those d6.
Yes.
So that was insane.
So as Mar is kind of like hiding in the shadows waiting and this like echolocation sound goes out, you realize like this thing is going to be able to discover where my friends are because that once that echolocation returns to it, it will know. You leap out of the shadows, hit the creature, describe how you take it out.
Oh my
How
god.
do you do?
So how messy do I want to be in this? I guess I'll just try to do this immediately.
Okay.
So we're both like up in the air ceiling. I'm very
You're on the
bad.
floor, but it's on the ceiling. Yeah.
But we're on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to, with my boots, kind of like come around over it and then go under it to come up through with the swords.
Okay, cool. So you just
What
kind
I
of
mean.
you like rise up with both of them, like vivisecting, like its wings, like flying
Yeah.
off, and it tumbles out of the air and then crashes to the ceiling, which is the floor, and just kind of it lays there dead. So that is enough for the two that were in that room to kind of, they hear that and they begin to fly out. And then from the opposite rectory wing, 2 more fly out from there. So you've got 4 that are kind of flying in the air. They only notice that Marlowe is there. But you are alreadying ranged attack actions against this one. You can fire off on one of the other 4 that are appearing. So Saurus, if you want to shoot off at one of the 4.
Okay, I shoot at the closest. How far away is it?
So they're about, so it's like flying out. It's probably about 60 feet away from you at this point.
Okay, that's with disadvantage then. Oh, that's not bad. 19.
That hits.
Okay.
Are you listening to a screaming video, Ronnie?
Pardon?
It sounded like Ronnie was listening to a video that was screaming.
16 damage.
Okay, 16. Okay. So Hildy, you watch as Saurus like pulls out a gun and then just like aims it up and fires at the creature.
And this is something you've never seen before.
Yeah, that you.
This explosion happens in his hand.
It was Saurus with the gun in the
Points.
Marlowe in the library with a sword is what happened. That's who the murder was.
All right. Abel, did you want to fire off with your?
Is it just an action attack or like?
It's just an action. You have like you have an action. Yeah.
And then bonus action, right?
No, you haven't. Well, you used your bonus action to activate your Force Ballistum. So
no, think how much damage I could have done if I had my 3rd attack, dude.
That's true.
If only.
All right, I will just Force Ballista the closest one.
Okay, go ahead. Fire off. It'll be the same one that Saurus just attacked.
Cool. So I take my Force Ballista and I'm gonna affix it to my staff.
Okay.
Which
Josh,
also
should mine have
has
been a crit
the
as a surprise
Everest
attack.
mark.
Technically, yes, because they would be surprised at you. So that'd be 30. What?
Those with advantage.
Let me add more to that then.
I didn't mean to press that button.
Add 5 more to it.
Okay. So 20.
Is it with advantage because they're surprised?
Yes.
Okay. There's a camera up in here. 25 to hit.
That hits. And then it's a critical hit, so you can double the dice.
Double the dice. Critical damage. Roll. Whew. Okay. That is 41 in force damage.
Jesus. Okay.
Plus, because I use my arcane firearm, connecting it to my quarterstaff. Another 12 in force arcane firearm damage.
All right, so as this one kind of pops out the corner, it like is like, what is going on? And it like just acknowledges like the fall of the other one from the space to the ground. It's just like bullet, poof, and then a blast of force energy that just slams it into the ceiling, and then it falls from the ceiling like one of those like oak leaf things as its wing was broken and hits the ground. Yeah.
Good job, Sodus.
All right. Anybody else had a ranged attack that they were able to throw off before we go into?
I do. How close are they?
So the three that are left are probably about 70 feet away from you.
Okay. In that
Are there
case,
3 left or 4 left?
Well, you just killed one, so
Oh,
there were 5 total, and you took out one, and then Abel and Source took out one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Mhm.
all right. In that case, I am going to use my sling.
Okay. Go ahead and fire off your sling.
But I'm going to cast Magic Stone on the rock first.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So to hit 12.
12 misses. So as you kind of throw the rock and it flies up to the ceiling, and then it like before it hits the ceiling, it vanishes and then pops back into your pocket
All right.
because it's your magic stone.
It's my Magic Stone.
All right, so it takes us to the top of initiative. They're now all aware of your presence, and so Marlo, you've got 2 more that are coming out from where that one was, or you've got the 2 across the way, or the 1 across the way that's still there.
I'll just go ahead and take the one closest.
Okay, go ahead and make your 3 attacks against that one.
Has that one been hit already?
No, this one hasn't been hit.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Great. Then we will stick with this one.
Mhm.
Let's do 3 attacks.
Okay.
First attack is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Then, that's only that's a 17 to hit.
That hits. Mhm.
Okay.
You're looking
And
for
then
a
that's-
16 on these guys.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, we got him. So that's all 3 attacks. Okay. Uh, 6, 7, 8. 19. Not great, but 40 points of damage total.
40 points of damage total. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you slam into this one and smack it a couple times. As you hit it the 3rd time, its wings go wide and it flaps once. And using its reaction, it's going to dust you. I need you to make
Ew.
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
You crusty, dusty.
Or do I
bitch.
sneeze? I get allergies.
Mirror.
Just terror. I mean, no, like a 5.
Okay, cool.
No.
So you take.
Has allergies.
If this was me, this is what takes me out for sure.
All right. So Marlo, you take 17 points of poison damage, and you
Wow.
are paralyzed. So
Okay.
you fall out of the air.
Okay.
50 feet.
Yeah.
And you hit the ground. So
Any
that's
way to use the reaction to kind of break her
I
fall?
don't have feather fall.
Hang on.
does anybody have featherfall?
I'll take it. We're fine.
Okay.
Okay, 9.
I mean,
That's
the only
14.
thing I could do, I don't even know if I could do
If
it.
you really want to do something, you can. But like,
Do you have featherfall or Hildy?
I don't have feather fall.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
No,
I like
featherfall's
will it.
the
I am
thing.
okay. I promise.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so that's 21 points of bludgeoning damage as you
Yeah.
all watch as like this cloud of dust kind of explodes off of the moth's wings, hits Marlo. Marlo freezes in the air and then plummets to the ground and hits the ground.
Well, that's not great.
Jury.
Me, I cast Great Invisibility on myself.
Okay, you are now invisible. Any move?
Does my wild magic
Oh,
activate?
let's see. What level spell is Greater Invisibility?
A 4.
Fourth level. Yes, please roll a d100 for me, please.
You see my magic get a little crazy. I got a 71.
A 71.
What did that do?
All books in your nearest vicinity explode.
No. So, Jury,
The curator eats us all.
Jury, you kind of, as you cast the greater invisibility, you feel your magic kind of go wild for a moment, but then it's almost like the shadows of the invisibility encase around you like an armor. You are now resistant to all forms of damage for the next minute.
Oh, let's go! I'm invisible and resistant.
Yep.
Amazing.
All right, Saurus.
How far away is one of these from the closest wall?
So the one that got Mar is kind of right at the corner joist of the wall.
Okay, I'm going to go run over and up the wall and jump on it.
Okay, so
and start wailing on it.
What's your full movement?
55. I will bonus dash if I have to.
So you will need to use your bonus dash to get the height that you need. But Hildy, you watch as Saurus just like hits the wall and like goes vertical up the wall, and then flips off the wall backwards and then punches into this creature twice. Go ahead and make your attack, Saurus.
Okay, let me put my glasses on so I can read the numbers. First attack is 28.
That hits.
And I do not get sneak attack damage.
No, because nobody's around it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so die 6 and Fist of the Dragon. 2 die 6 cold damage. Do you need those separated, or can I give you one total?
No, you can give it all in one.
Okay. 18 damage.
Okay. And then your second hit?
Second attack is a 27.
That hits.
And then that is 17 damage.
Oh, okay.
And does my weight cause this thing to fall out of the air?
So the thing, you punch it once and then you punch it a second time and then grab it and plummet with it to the ground and slam it at your feet, and it is out. That was enough to do it.
And I just roll off and
pop off because it doesn't have a reaction to get you. All right, which takes us to Hildy. So you've got the two that were flying out from where Marlo was are now out. And so there's the two on the other side that are flying out kind of together into the space.
I need you to go with me on this and tell me if I can or can't do it, because
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Am I able to use a cantrip at the same time that you use a spell?
So if you cast a spell if you have a spell that's a bonus action, then you can cast a cantrip as your action. So if you cast, for instance, like Misty Step as your bonus action, you could do a cantrip as your action. But otherwise, if it's an action, you can only do one spell per action.
Okay. And a cantrip counts as what a spell would be.
That would be a spell, yeah.
Here's my thought process.
Okay.
What if I used dancing lights and tried to distract the moths with light?
You're just ahead of me. I was gonna get a lamp.
I think that's a fantastic usage of dancing lights.
That is brilliant.
So you go ahead and so you're as your action, you cast dancing lights, and you just kind of have them like what do your dancing lights look like as an archivist of the librarian?
Well, I feel like it would have to be something that is used as a good distraction or something. So in this case, I feel like it's just like a whole bunch of like fairy lights in a circle.
Okay, cool. And so they kind of fly up. So what I need you to roll with that is go ahead and make just an intelligence check for me to see if you can like position them in the right place to attract those moths' attention. And that'll be against their...
You said that's
just an intelligence check. This is like your usage of your magic, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is an 18.
Oh, fantastic. So you all watch as these lights, like fairy lights, fly up into the air from Hildy. And the two moths that are kind of flying out, they immediately kind of like the light hits their multifaceted eyes and are kind of like reflecting off of them. You get the impression that they are distracted by that. So attacks against them would have advantage for the next round.
Nice.
All right. Abel, that takes us to you. Yeah. Rane. Abel. Oh.
Sorry, I had to help Sully.
That's okay. It's yours.
We already have advantage on them.
You have two moths, and you have an advantage with both of them because they're distracted by these fairy lights.
Not going to have the effect. It makes no sense. You can't get double advantage, so I can't do that.
No, yeah.
1, 2. I have to very quickly retool my approach. There's a camera beneath. All right, I'm going to catapult. So I'm gonna reach into the robes and pull out a thin little glowing sheet of metal and toss it underneath the little. I'm wearing. Well, is there any rubble or anything around that I can?
Yeah, there's some rubble. Yeah. This is an old temple.
A little pile of rubble. I'm gonna cast catapult at the nearest Mothman.
Okay, what's the range on catapult?
It is 60 feet.
Okay, that is they'd be just within your range, so you can go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Yep, with advantage.
Well, they have to do a.
Oh, it's so I'll give them disadvantage on the dex save. Well, that was a natural 20 on one of them, but that is a 14.
A 14. It's a fail. And it's 3d8. 13 plus another d8 plus 5. So 18 damage from catapult.
Okay.
That's my bonus action. I'm going to aim my force ballista and fire at the same guy.
Okay. So you watch as that thin sheet slides under one of the pieces of rubble, and it just springs the rubble supersonic speeds towards the creature. It slams into it, kind of knocks it sideways in the air, and then you got advantage on this attack roll with your force ballista, Abel.
Oh, advantage. Well, that was a 27. I guess I'll roll again.
Just in case it's a crit.
Y'all. 27.
Okay, that hits. Yep.
There's a camera up in here. That is 06. Can I re-roll? Can I use my sorcery points to re-roll?
Only on spells.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
16 plus another d8 plus 6. 22.
22, so that's a total of 40 points of damage in that round from Abel. Good.
I'll just, I guess, find a little bit of cover. I don't want to get dusted.
Sure. All right, Kaimana, that takes us to you.
How close am I to the nearest one?
So the nearest one to you is probably about 60 feet away.
All right. I would like to. Yeah. Let's see. Let me double check this. Yes, I would like to sprint up as close as I can to it with my movement.
Okay, so you can kind of get underneath it. So now you're only about 40 feet away from it.
Okay. And then I would like to bonus action Misty Step 30 feet up into the air.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, using just my hand, I'm going to throw my rock at it.
Okay, go ahead and so go ahead and make a ranged attack. So it's with your dexterity.
Yeah, that's better. That's a 28 to hit.
Okay, that hits. Go ahead and roll with your magic stone damage.
6.
6 points of damage. And now, Kaimana, you are falling 40 feet at the end of that. So you hit the ground. I rolled 3 ones. So you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam back into the ground from your teleport up and then your chucking of the stone and then your fall. All right.
That sounded better in my head.
I think it worked. All right.
Oh, it was spectacular.
Beautiful till the end of it.
Okay. So the moths they shake their heads a little bit. They are still distracted by the dancing lights, so their attacks are going to be at disadvantage for this round. But they're both going to use. Well, the one that's super injured is going to use dust. So I need Marlowe's out of the way. Kaimana, Hildy, Abel, and Saurus and Jury as this
He can't see me though, or is it an area?
It's an area attack. The one that was injured kind of flies out, and like Mothra in in Godzilla, rains dust across the whole area around you. I need you all to make Constitution saving throws.
This bitch is dusty.
Well, Jury doesn't need to though, right? Because
no, I have damage
We'll have resistance to the damage. Yeah.
Oh, resistance, not immunity.
Yeah. What does this count as, Josh?
So the attack is going. It's not. This is not poison. This is different. Mm-hmm.
It's not poison. It's not frightened. It's not diseased or charmed.
No. This is technically like this is acid.
I got an 11.
11. Okay, that's a failure.
16.
16 is a failure. Abel.
I got an 11.
11 is a failure.
Wow.
Abel.
20.
20. That's a success. Hildy.
So it's okay.
You're doing the Constitution saving.
Constitution saving throw. Yeah. So.
And I don't have an extra on that, so then it'll
just be your Constitution.
Flat roll.
Natural 20.
So you're good. All right. So.
You used to do that.
I don't know. I use an inhaler or something ahead of time.
Let's see.
A library issued inhaler.
That's super
Take your
low.
scarf and just put it up in front of your mouth.
Super low roll. So as this entity kind of like flaps its wings out, you see the dust kind of swirl out from its wings, but then coalesce into droplets and fall. Hilda, you've seen this before as like an acid rain fall from the moth, using the same organ that it uses to dissolve books as it's eating them. And so this acid rain falls out. If you were successful on your saving throw, you take 18 points of acid damage. If you were not successful, that is 36 points of acid damage.
So, and I take...
You take 18 because you were resistant to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So even with the natural 20, it's still 18 points.
It's still 18 points, yeah, because you just take half damage from the attack.
Okay.
The other one is going to kind of fly down and at Kaimana, who threw a stone at it, and is going to take 2 swipes at at Kaimana with its claws with disadvantage because it is distracted by Hildy's lights. The first one, that was a natural 20, but that is a 7 to hit. Kaimana, that misses you. The second one that's a 15 to hit.
No.
Okay, cool. So both of its claws strike out at you, but the lights from the dancing lights are distracting it enough that neither of its claws make make purchase on your body, which takes us to Marlowe. The paralysis kind of wears off at the start of your turn, so you are free to take action this round.
Ow! I push myself up and get my swords. Is the one that came down to Kaimana close to me?
Yeah, it's about 20 feet away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go beat up on that one.
All
if
right.
I can position myself to get advantage.
You can with Kaimana.
That's engaged with Kaimana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you got advantage on all these.
All right. So first attack, we're looking for a 16, right?
Yes.
Hits, and hits. Okay, so 3 hits.
Was that with advantage?
Yeah.
Ooh, another sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going here. When I remember I'm a rogue, I remember. So okay. Oh, nice. So the first attack is 25 damage.
Okay.
And then I did that one, but that wasn't any sneak attack. You see, Josh, that was me tricking you to see if I had a sneak attack, and I didn't do it. So okay, so then that's add another 12 to that.
Okay.
And then the second attack is 14. The third attack is 16.
Okay. So a total of 30. So as you kind of charge at the one that was trying to claw at Kaimana, you kind of like slice once and then kind of wheel around and hit it again, and then come up with both swords in an uppercut, and it vivisects and falls to either side. And that one is also down. All right. So there's one left. Jury.
All right. I'm going to try to get within 60-foot range of this guy.
You are. It just dusted the whole room, and so it's kind of like floating up above you all. Yeah.
This idiot. I'm feeling very good that I just took ice magic, so I don't have only fire magic. I'm going to cast Ice Knife on him.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack. Roll with advantage because it is stunned by the lights.
Okay. First one was an 18.
That hits.
Okay.
But you see if it's a natural 20 on the second roll.
Yeah, it was not.
Okay.
And then at higher level, do I add more to this?
I think so. I think it's an additional damage die for each.
Okay, so fucking rolled a 2 both times, so it takes 4 damage.
Oh no.
No,
Okay.
good.
4 points of damage. And then
I'm embarrassed.
So from nowhere, just like an invisible place within the room, a shard of ice flies out and hits the creature. Okay.
It wings it a little, and then I'll give Mara inspiration.
All right, Mara's got inspiration. Saurus, you're up.
Do better than me.
I'm going to do the same trick again. Roll up above it, jump down on it.
Okay. You'll need to use another dash to get the height and the ceiling, but then go ahead and make your 2 attacks.
Okay, first attack with advantage. High is 18 plus 10, so that's 28.
That hits.
And because I have advantage, I get sneak attack.
Yes, you do.
And I'm using the gloves, so... Ooh, good one. 24.
24 points of damage. Okay.
And then the next attack... I rolled a 3 and a 2, so a 13.
13 misses. The first attack, you clobber it enough that it kind of like slides out of the way in the air. And as you're going for the second punch, it's just out of reach as you kind of fall back down to the ground. All right, Hildy, that takes us to you.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, superhero. Yeah.
Kick ass, Hildy, kick ass.
I would like to use my wand of magic missiles at a 2nd level.
All right, cool. So that is, let me just
4 missiles.
4 missiles. So roll 4d4.
Okay. Come here, weird triangle.
Yeah, the cantrips or the caltrops. Get the caltrops.
1, 3. With a 4, so we're at 7 now.
Okay.
8.
8 points of
4.
damage. Plus 4.
Plus 4.
Is 12.
Plus 4.
So, Hildy, as you brandish the wand, how does Hildy take out this moth?
She's just, oh wow. So she pulls out her little wand guy, and just sends it, just a little swish and flick situation. Just sends it on up, and it however many times it needs to go to it, just
Cool.
hits it in the eyeballs.
Nice. Do your darts have any particular look, or are they just kind of typical magic darts?
I feel like it's probably it would still have that kind of like bright lightness to it,
Mhm.
because I do feel like the wand of magic missile is something that she probably uses specifically for the moths.
Yeah.
So I feel like it still has some type of like bright light that heads straight for them.
Nice. So these 4 beams of light kind of leave the wand and they spiral around, very much like the dancing light fairy circle. And the moth kind of like turns to it like a moth to a flame, as then like there's like really attracted to it, and then all 4 slam into it and it falls down to the ground and hits to the ground and is clear. And you all do not hear or see any other moths in the area.
Nice.
Does that count as making noise, or
We were pretty quiet about it.
Yeah, you guys were pretty quiet about it. I
a
rolled up.
net quiet result? It's much quieter now that there are not moths eating books.
I feel like maybe there's like, and Josh, it's your world. You can obviously tell me I'm ridiculous. But I feel like the curator would kind of know the difference in some of the sounds. Like what's a ruckus sound as opposed to this may have been a protective sound.
Yeah. Like, you know that like the curator, part of the action of protecting the library is killing the moths. So
yes.
The curator would be happy with that action.
Like he might poke his head around and look at it and be like, cool. And then
might eat some of them.
And
I'm not going to have that happen now, but it could.
But I don't think that if it did gain his attention, I don't think it's anything that would,
because you didn't disturb the books. You didn't hurt the books in any way. Yeah. And you know that that's the most important thing.
So does like janitorial services get the bodies? Just cool. Great.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. The disposal unit will deal with it.
Ironically, they're eaten by books.
Mar, you hear in your head, I mean, they're not real, so.
Mark starts laughing. Holy fucking laugh. He tries to like compose himself.
We roll Constitution to not laugh also.
I'm gonna roll con to not laugh, or deception.
Deception. Well, I mean, if you could laugh, but like
I got a 13 to not laugh, so I feel like I'm doing that like too big a smile.
Yeah.
I mean,
that no one can see because you're invisible.
Yeah.
You're
laughing. Yeah. Marlo's laughing.
Hamada thinks they're laughing at the books eat them.
I don't think that was funny.
Perfect. All right. So, but the space is quiet around you. The stalactite books of heretics above you. Anything in here that you all would like to do?
Leave.
All right. So
Reflect a little bit.
yeah. So Hildy, as you're kind of looking around the space, the first one that catches your eye is that special sigil of that has kept popping up for you. Mm-hmm.
Oh. No, that's not a good sigil.
The one of the little village hamlet.
No, that one is a good sigil.
Yeah, that's the one that keeps popping up for you. Yeah, that one. You know that the other one is in this room somewhere, but the one that you keep seeing that you always see is the village hamlet
in the corner of your eye.
Is there?
Yeah, you know what? Hildy's going to take him straight to there because it's just like. Cool. Take a little break.
All right.
Take a little moment.
Fantastic. So as you all kind of go over, Hildy gets to one of the buttresses and there's like a sigil kind of carving, like almost like somebody was up in the roof of the rafters of this church and like hand carved an image into the wood of the buttress. And Hildy kind of presses it and you watch as the scratch marks almost come to life, and there's just this little like a small carriage with a horse appears out of nowhere and kind of trots across the image. There's a few people like walking, but it looks as if like this image of this small village or hamlet appears, and as soon as the image plays out, the rune activates and the space underneath the buttress kind of grays out for a moment and then opens, and it is a pathway that leads deeper into the library. And so you all trudge through, and as you cross that shadowy light, the first thing that hits you is a smell of fresh farmland, like flowers, hay, maybe distant animal creatures, maybe cows or sheep or something like that. And then your eyes have to adjust because in the sky above you is a beautiful sunlit day, blue skies, light clouds kind of dappling, beautiful trees in the distance that are shaking lightly in a summer breeze. And then the sound hits you of people chatting and talking and people selling their wares. You have arrived at the centerpiece of a small hamlet village, maybe slightly on the coast. You can hear maybe waves or ocean waves a little bit distant from you. But there's dirt road beneath you, old style buildings. For Marlowe, this feels very much like a Veltland town.
Yeah, Mar's gonna go sit down somewhere, and just not interact with this place.
I'm just waiting for the villagers.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the villagers to burst out into song
to start
about
singing.
What a strange girl Belle is.
Yeah. It is very what a town and a quiet village energy.
No, not France.
not in France.
Generic England.
Generic. You're kind of
France where everyone has an English accent.
Yeah.
But, like D&D.
Yeah. But
muted that one.
Is he muted?
That's Brittany.
The Brittany, there you go. But you're looking out and, people are kind of moving and they're all dressed very weirdly, in the sense that they're all dressed very differently. Like, it's not like there's like, they're not all dressed like standard Illyrian people. They're not all dressed in like old fashioned garb. There's some that are wearing kind of older style dresses or pants or things like that. There's a few that are wearing outfits that don't seem to fit any classification of time period, like that seem to be made out of kind of a metal material, but are actually like they maybe are not metal. It's really weird to tell. There's a few that are just kind of dressed in like these odd button-up shirts and these pants and shoes and are wearing glasses with their hair combed over to the side. Like, it's like everybody here seems to be from a slightly different time period or a slightly different imagination, but they're all interacting with each other, eating, like buying goods from each other. But one in particular catches the arrival of new people here and moves over. And they immediately go to Hildy and they say, "Milady, it's so good to see you again. Welcome back. He's been looking for you. We lost him in the woods."
You lost him in the woods?
Yes, and the horses are so sick. They need your attention. And that is where we'll pick up next week.
Oh my God, horse doctor, let's go.
I'm just thinking that there was something about in the categories Apocrypha or where things had come to life or something like that. And I can't remember what you called it, Josh. But
it was because of the book.
This is the
romance novel.
This is the uncontained fictions section.
If you'll turn your attention to the group chat, I did draw Hildy at the beginning of the session. So.
Yay!
Yay!
You have to say.
She's so cute.
She is super cute.
Oh, I love it.
That's why I was drawing at the beginning, and because my brain wasn't working.
Shut up.
No, I love her. She's so perfect.
She's so cute.
Yeah, that is perfect.
They can join the ticket takers.
But you are all in the uncontained fiction section. Of
Oh.
yeah.
You are.
Oh boy.
Oh, I love this so much. It's gonna be so.
And there are
fun.
hipsters here. Why are there hipsters here?
Because they're uncontained.
Yeah, they're
Uncontained
from all
fictions.
different books
Yep.
that have made their way out of their own books, and now they live in this little village. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good night, y'all.
All right, night.
Good night.
Yep.
Good night. I'm glad you like it, Sarah.